I recently decided to replace my floors and I got a quote to see how much it would cost, and the labor came out to over $1,800, so I decided to do it myself. This is not the first floor I've installed, but I'm also not an expert. I want to show you the tips and tricks I've learned as a beginner, so hopefully the process goes smoothly for you. So the first floor I'm changing is carpet. To remove the carpet, it usually comes right up. Buddy, can I help you, sir? So it's easier to cut the back of the carpet. It's easier if you just roll the whole thing and throw it outside, but it becomes really heavy and we have no way of throwing out big carpet. Oh,
did you just put a hole in the wall?
No. That's satisfying. You just rip it. Oh, yes! Oh, this is too easy. Oh. I'm comfortable. Okay. It's like on top of a pile of padding. Very comfortable. I don't want to get up now. To take out the tack strips, I use a pry bar and a hammer. I also decided to replace the baseboards because they were in bad shape. A utility knife helps cut through the caulking, so when you take the baseboard out, it doesn't damage the wall. It's not always necessary to remove the baseboards. You can always finish the floors with some quarter round. When I got done removing the floors, we discovered water damage from the door leaking. Luckily, Tony's dad helped fix the door. To prep the floors, I had to remove the staples that were used to secure the padding. It's hard to, you can take them off with pliers or whatever, but it'll take forever. I like using the oscillating tool and it just comes right off. After I painted the living room, I still had some prepping to do. I'm marking where the transition will go so I know where to stop the floors. You can also install the transition track before laying the floors, but I like to do mine at the end. I'm undercutting the door jambs so that the floors will fit under it. If I don't do this, there will be a visible gap. I'm using an oscillating tool, but if you don't have one, you can use a handsaw. The vinyl planks require that the floors are leveled. Luckily, my floors were level except for a couple bumps I sanded down. I found a couple helpful videos on how to level your floors that I will link in the description below in case you need to level your floors. I will be laying the floors where the carpet was for now. Later on, I'm doing the kitchen, but I can only handle one room at a time. I will be putting a transition on this seam because this is a manufactured home, and the way a double wide is put together, they meet in the middle, creating this seam. With the climate changes, it expands and contracts throughout the year, so I'm putting a transition to avoid the floor splitting in the future. You don't always have to use underlayment, but I did on mine to help with the sound and to have a protective barrier over the wood subfloor. Some floors come with an underlayment already attached to it. Underlayment is easy to install. You just roll it out and use a utility knife to cut as needed. You know what I forgot? The underlayment tape. So I gotta go to the store and get it. I'm using vinyl plank flooring in a wood pattern. The vinyl planks have a tongue and groove system, and when you start to lay the floor, you want to make sure that the groove is facing out towards you so that you can insert the tongue into the groove. Alright, so I'm trying to determine how I'm gonna start the floor. So because we have that transition there, And I'm starting on this side because I want to make sure that a full plank or almost a full plank starts on here. I just don't want, like, you know, those little bitty pieces ending right here where that lip is. So I wanted to make sure we get a full plank on there. But I immediately have to turn in here. I put in 2 planks together. Maybe that will make that easier for me. And then I'll just cut the edge off on that side. I'm gonna be using spacers to make sure that the space here is correct all the way along. But I always like having a small piece of baseboard just to make sure that I am covering or I'm having also the right amount of space. The first cut is along the whole plank, so I drew a line and then I used the table saw to cut it. There was a bug flying into my face as I was cutting this. And I was trying not to let go so the floor wouldn't, like, just, you know, just tap away or whatever. But the bug kept just flying into my face.
Hello, Clarice.
Yeah, let's go. I'm unstoppable, do the impossible. I'm irresponsible.
The bugs is attracted to the noise and the fact that I'm cutting this damn floor. I think these can be cut with a utility knife. I just like using the saws better because it just makes it a lot easier. That's the bug that was taunting me. It came back, say I try to cut another piece. I don't know if it likes the noise or what it is. Maybe it just doesn't want to live anymore and it's just trying to fly into the saw. But that's just a horrible way to die. It just turned upside down for no reason. It had just given up in life. Like, that's it. I am done. Oh, he's... Part of me was hoping that it was dead so it wouldn't bother me anymore. And then the other part of me felt bad. And now the part that wishes that it was dead, just a little bit stronger. Because I gotta finish cutting this floor. I really don't want to cut it with a knife. So it looks like I just need to cut a little bit there. I'm just eyeballing it.
That always goes well.
Say that worked. I think I can clean it off actually. I think the marking piece can be cleaned off, so I'm actually not that worried.
Nice, that should cover it.
Yeah, it should be fine. I got the first row down. To cut the plank that goes under the door jamb, I marked and drew the cutout section. While these can be cut with a utility knife, it's not that easy to do. Using a circular saw or jigsaw is faster and it gives you a cleaner cut. So I messed up my first cut. I mean, it looks like it would be pretty good, but see, when you put the trim, that's what you want to avoid. So that's why I like having test pieces of trim, because it lets me know whether or not I need to recut the piece. I need to redo this cut, but more of an angle here just so that little gap doesn't show. All right, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I used this as my template to cut it again, but see, now I have that curve there. The first 3 rows are usually challenging because there's no weight on the floor, so they move all over the place. I also had a lot of tedious cuts on the first few rows, so it took me a while to get the floor going. I am thinking. So I cut a short piece just to make sure that it was the right angle so I know how to cut the rest. But now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to cut the actual plank. Maybe that way.
Yeah, that's gonna be too short though, isn't it?
I'm going to cut it and see if it works.
So what kind of candy are you gonna give me if you f this up? I mean, mess this up.
I don't know. Reese's Buttercup sound.
It sounds good to me.
I owe you a Reese's Buttercup because I don't know what I cut, but it's...
I told you it was gonna be too damn short, didn't I?
A bet is a bet, so... I win. Alright, so I watched the YouTube video. I'll link below because I'm not gonna take credit, but I think I know what I'm doing this time. So the planks are 6 inches, and apparently the way you do this, you measure 6 inches. So that's 6 inches. And then you measure from here, from where the plank starts to where the plank would end, and that is like 8 and...
Yeah, 8 1/4.
I told you I know what I'm doing. So then, so 8 1/4. We'll mark it here. All right, let's see if that works. I would say that worked. Alright, so this is one of those gaps where I was afraid that it might be too big. But then when I put baseboard on there, it's not. It covers it pretty good. Now, something else I want to show you. So you have to inspect each planks before you install it because sometimes they come in damaged or faulty. And like you see that there, like that, it's this plank, it looks like is chipped on there somehow. So it creates a little bit of a gap. Might not be too big of a deal, but I don't like it. So I think I'm gonna have to replace this piece right here. Okay.
So now we're putting everything back together.
Yep. I like putting like dummy planks here, see where they connect, just to make sure that they are 100% connected. You know, I can tap it a little bit harder without being scared of like damaging the edge. See how every joint has it? It just keeps the joints together. It keeps them from like moving or unsnapping. Now that I'm doing all straight pieces, I can show you some of the basic stuff. When I get to the plank that needs to be cut, I flip it upside down, leaving the spacing required between the wall and the floor, then mark it and cut it. I normally don't make it a habit to cut inside because of all the dust that it creates, but it was raining earlier and I didn't want to stop. The reason I don't cut inside with the saw is because it's very dusty and it goes everywhere. I mean everywhere, including the ceiling.
Loud noise, buddy.
Oh.
What's she doing? See what she's doing? What's she doing? Is she making a mess? Do you like the floor though? Do you think it's gonna be pretty when we're done? Oh, you do. You like the floor. Yeah. You're helping?
As I'm laying the floors, I'm using spacers against the wall. The floors require a 1/4 inch gap because this allows the floors to float freely in case of any expansion. Not leaving the space can cause the floors to buckle. To stagger the floors, I'm doing a random pattern. When staggering the planks, keep it at 8 inches long or more. So I'm gonna be showing Tony how to cut the planks because she's gonna be helping me just so this can go a little bit quicker.
I don't like these glasses.
They're not supposed to be likable. They're just supposed to protect your eyes from getting poked out of your head and falling out.
But like, Tiffany, what do I do? Because my ears are not perfect. I know I look perfect, but my ears are not perfect. Like when I put them on where I think they should be, this one is squishing my eye and this one is out. So then I have to like put them like this. Then it feels weird because then it's still pulling on this ear more than that ear, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, I am sorry for your problems and inconveniences, but you only wear these for a few seconds while you cut the plank, and then you can just take them off.
Oh, okay. Let's do this.
I didn't tape all the underlayment at the beginning because it shifted as I was laying the floor, so I found it easier to tape it as I got closer to the edge. I will warn you that if you're not used to this type of work, it is very hard on your body and very tiring. Because I don't do this all the time, it usually takes me a few days from prep to finish, even in a small area. So take your time and do what you can. So the way I put the planks in, I start by putting this part right here. You have the long tongue facing you, and you have the long tongue over here. So you put the one with the short tongue at an angle there, and then you just kind of lay it flat, and then you want the tongue to go under there. So you angle it a little bit, and you just push it, try to get this side locked in. And it usually locks in on its own if you push it. If it doesn't, use the tapping block. If the planks don't want to click properly, check for debris because sometimes it will get stuck in the tongue and groove. And then after that, I like hitting it with the tapping block softly. Not too hard because I don't want to damage this. Just to make sure that it is all the way in. And then you want to feel it to make sure that it's smooth. Here, I'm actually noticing a lip and it looks like the plank is cracked. So, which is why you want to check every plank before you put it on. And even after you install it, like make sure you feel it. But there's a little bit of a lip like right there. Hard to see, but yeah, it looks like it's cracked. So I'm actually gonna redo this plank because it's not good. Take it off, make sure you take it off softly. Like don't jank it because then you can damage the other tongues here. See, if I do that, you can see where it's cracking there. So I'm glad I caught that. Check all your planks. This is very thin, so if during shipping they drop the boxes, likely that some of the planks might be damaged. I also like to mark the planks that are damaged, but that I can still use. See, like these, I marked that those edges are damaged, but I can still use, I can cut that part out and use the other one, like use the other part of the plank. I just mark them so that way I don't get confused and try to use them again. I have this super fancy pipe coming out of the floor with our Ethernet cable. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill a hole.
Tiffany, what happened to your finger? Did you cut yourself?
No, that's the red Sharpie. You scared me. Oh shit, I'm bleeding. No, it's just the Sharpie. I'm measuring where the pipe starts and where it ends. So I'm taking that measurement here. So I mark it. So it's 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches. So I'm gonna make a 1-inch hole. I'm hoping that's enough to give it enough wiggle room. So the hole should be within those dots right there. Oops.
Did you just break it?
No, it just fell out
Fell
of
off?
the drill. Yeah. Alright, so this. That was almost perfect, but all I need to do is trim it. Yeah, because it's too close to the wall, but if I trim it, I can actually center it. So it's not a big deal. Bless you. The main thing I wanted to do the hole a little bit bigger is you still want enough room for it to expand. So just like you have to leave, enough room on the edges for it to expand, you know, making that hole, I still have to leave that amount of room. And then I'll put like a little flange or something on there. To cut these, I do it very similar to how I cut the planks when I get to the end of the wall. What I do is I put it in the direction that it's supposed to go, and then I flip it. Okay, and then I mark. The cut should be. Maybe I'll just
cut it on the floor and cut up your work that you've already done underneath of it.
This is my safety plank in case the knife goes too far. I think that it's nice that you can do this without power tools. However, it's not easy, which is why I use the power tools, because it does not snap easy at all. I see people doing it on videos, like nothing. Oh, just snap it. Can't. Ooh, snap. Ooh, snap. Oh, snap. Did it. I did it. I only had to put my whole body weight on it.
You should have just used him, it would have been easier.
True. Okay. Because you can't really fit the tapping block against the wall, you can use the pull bar. It fit perfect. And that's it. I'm done. I did our laundry room, kitchen, and dining area using the same floors. I didn't use underlayment on these areas since the floor was linoleum and it served as a barrier between the planks and the subfloor. I'm done! Oh my god, I'm glad I'm done. I mean, I still got trim and transitions to do, but it's gonna be another day. After the floors were finished, I needed to install trim and transitions. I won't go over the details of how to install trim because it will take a whole nother video to go over it. I'm just gonna focus on the floors and explaining how I did the transitions. The transitions come with a track and it's pretty easy to cut with a utility knife. The transition piece can also be cut with the knife. A bit more challenging, but doable. After the transition is cut to size, I use construction glue to glue it in place. I found it easier to put the track and the transition together before gluing it. I try to make sure there is a little bit of wiggle room, see, like how it moves, because you don't want the floor right against it. You still have to leave that space. So I think ideally you're supposed to put the track first and then this, but I find it easier to do it this way. Just do it all in one step. Why not? Press down a little bit, just enough to make sure that it sets on the glue. Don't step on it for like 24 hours and you should be good to go.
Helping.
Where's our car?
Oh,
A bet is a bet, so
I win.
if you enjoyed this video, here are some of my other projects. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.